All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, double honor to our elders and apostles, great millstone, rulers, teach well, and peace, love, salutations, and blessings to those that do this work in truth and sincerity. We the brothers, we got more brothers coming out, but we the brothers from GMS Camp Atlanta, and we're back at you with another camp. And we just go right into it. We're in the end time, and we see this kingdom, the Edomite kingdom, crumbling. Okay, you see it crumbling right before your very eyes. You see all of the other nations rising up against Esau, Edom, and you see even Eve and her attachment to Esau, Edom, the serpent, is falling apart. Okay, you see the dollars collapsing, wars, going on all across the globe. You see inflated prices on food and goods and services. You see the weakening of the dollar, all right, and the dismantling of NATO. All those things are spoken about in the scriptures, okay? And we're in those times, all right? And I'm gonna start off with a quick precept. We'll go to 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. And I'm going to start at the first verse, and it says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the sign of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when thou shalt be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before, even from the beginning. For as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end has manifest." All right. So we're in the end of this kingdom. All signs point to it being the end of this world, this current world that we're living in. All right. We're experiencing something called a polycrisis. But most people that go to and fro, that walking amongst the earth, they don't even consider the circumstances that we're in. Okay. Everybody's still trying to live their best life. Everybody's trying to make a dollar and trying to get by. When your working hours, the labor that you put forth, it's not enough to survive. You can work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours, and it's still not enough to survive what's happening. So you have a lot of people, especially a lot of these Edomites, that are in an uproar. All right? They're in an uproar because they're used to being able to get those niceties, right? They're used to being able to, have those high dollar paying jobs. They're used to making this 6 figures, right? They're not making that anymore. Okay? And these Edomites out here are upset about that. So you have uproars all across the country, all across the world, of the people who are suffering because of the rulership. The people that are ruling, they're causing the people up under their rule to suffer, right? And then you have earthquakes all over the world. Major earthquakes. I believe there was an earthquake today or yesterday. Let me see a recent earthquake. All right. So this just happened today or yesterday, I believe. It was on the 24th, right? So on the 24th, you had a 4.9 magnitude earthquake in Afghanistan. All right. You also had a 6.0 in Deal Tremor. You had a 6.0, 23 miles from Hirokawa, in Japan, right? So you have all of these things that are happening that are pointing to the end, all right? You're pointing to the end of this man's system, the end of this man's evil, the end of this man's rule, all right? And I know we go into it consistently. We go into the destruction of Esau's world, but it's important to show you how close we are to the end of this man's system, okay? So this is Proverbs 29:2, and it says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn." So you have majority of the whole earth in a state of mourning because they don't have the basic needs, the basic necessities, the basic things that they need to survive. Why? Because you got people at the top that want to hoard all the resources to themselves. Okay? You got people at the top that want to hoard all the resources to themselves. And you think they give two shits about the people? You think they give two shits about the people? This man don't care nothing about y'all. He don't care that you all are starving. I mean, when they asked my man Trump, right? When they asked him, they said, "Hey, what do you think about the Americans suffering because of gas prices?" He said, I don't care not one bit. Okay? And he said, I don't care not one bit. So these people that are in authority, they don't care about y'all people beneath them. They don't care that y'all suffering. You know? And here it is. You have men that are, especially you Israelites out there, that are warning you for the destruction of hand and telling you why you're experiencing what you're experiencing, and you don't really care to listen. So this is why you're going to get what you're going to get, especially y'all women out there, because y'all been connected to the serpent for so long. And all of the niceties, all of the teats, so to speak, as it speaks about in the scriptures, they shall lament for the teats, right? All that stuff is failing. You got women losing their jobs. You Israelite women at a huge rate, right? And at the same time that's happening, guess what? The men are starting a movement against y'all women. This is a real thing. You got men that are now saying, Jake men that are now saying, do not give your seed to the so-called black woman. Our reality has become everybody else's reality. All right? And we've been saying this for such a long time, starting with what our elders, the apostles, and so-called black woman wasn't shit. Stay away from her. Right? And that spirit that the men of the Lord have been putting out has now caught on. And see that the spirit is, you don't have to be in the truth for the spirit to hit you and change your perspective on things, because at the end of the day, it's all about prophecy. Okay? And the so-called black woman has to get trampled as the mire in the streets, as the scriptures say, because she's the enemy. She's been dealing with the serpent for such a long time, utilizing his systems.
Yeah, I had some sticking to the point where you were like, men are out here, and it's basically going over people's heads about the times that we're living in. All right, you still got your head so far up the white man's ass that you can't really see what's going on out here, And we're speaking to our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because this is who this is for. Proverbs 1 and 23, it says, "Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, because I have called and ye refuse. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. And that's what the brother is saying. We're heading into some dangerous times. All right. And we're also in a time to where, shit has changed. I heard you speaking before I pulled up about, how six figures don't go as far as it used to. And the so-called white man is feeling the crunch too. You know why? Because that cup, all right, that we had to drink of is now being put in your face. All right. And you're feeling the same fucking you're feeling the same curses as us, but you're not a part of the blessing. All right. These curses that you're feeling is for your demise. All right. The curses that we're feeling is for us to become a better people and ultimately receive the crown of Yahweh Shai. Because this is a punishment that we're in. All right. We know that it's only for due season. All right. But you other nations, all right, the way the men of Yahweh Shai is going to rule, it's going to be for forever. And you're going to have to fall in line. You know?
I got one just back this you up. Okay. This is Deuteronomy 30:7. And it says, and the Lord that power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on all them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Yeah. And who's the top person that has persecuted us and that has a perpetual hatred for his brother Jacob? You so-called white people, you Edomites. All right. And we're not forgetting about you other nations. All right. You're within that too, that cup. Because you all are feeling it. All right, especially if you're over here in America,
If I could just say too, like how we know that these curses are turning on Esau Edom, well, guess what? Your women is turning against you. You see, one of the heaviest curses is when your women turn against you, when your women are against you. And I listen to Elder Malcolm and other brothers all the time to talk about how the so-called white woman, she's developing a hatred toward the so-called white man because she's starting to realize that this situation is caused by him. And this man is not getting punished for any of the things that he's doing, but you will get punished because that cup is going to get passed to you. That's why I said, let me just get that real quick.
While you grab that, I'm gonna finish this off. This finishing off in Proverbs, the first chapter, it says, "But ye have said it not all my counsel, and with none of my reproof." All right, because you have the men of the Lord out here telling you what's going on. All right, but our people are so fucking hard-headed and stiff-necked, and how they head so far Esau's ass that they can't really see it, and they are shunned and they talk shit. They done everything under the sun to try to discredit, all right, or not to hear. But we know that's ultimately of the Lord if you can't hear. All right, because if you have ears to hear, his word is for you. All right, if you have eyes to see what's going on, all right, then you're in line with the scriptures. You know that what we're saying is 100% true. All right, go ahead. You got it.
Yes, this is Lamentations 4:21. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup shall also pass unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall be made and shall make thyself naked." Yeah, so the Lord is revealing you. Why do you think these Epstein files are coming out? Why do you think the nations are turning against this man? Why do you think all of these problems are happening? That's part of that nakedness. The Lord is revealing this man, showing you that, hey, all the stuff that he been doing, that shit been lies, man. Like his whole history. Like, you got this guy named Shahid Bolson that's on the internet. And, he did a podcast the other day saying, hey, there's been 24 lynchings in the United States this year.
They rule them all as suicide.
And they rule them all as suicide. And they're saying, he said that's equivalent to how they were lynching people back in the 1920s, the volume. See what I'm saying? And all those are ruled, like the elder said, all those are ruled as suicide. And this man is not getting punished for any of these things that he's doing. You see what I'm saying? But the scriptures say that the cup is going to pass you, and it's being passed to you. Because, as I just mentioned, one of the telltale signs that these curses are on your ass is when your women turn against you. Because you in the house, you and a woman, and y'all not together, y'all not in sync, what happened? Your house is divided. Right.
The state of the women, the state of the women tells you a lot about the nation. You know, the state that your women,
Yeah.
it tells a lot. It tells a lot about the nation.
Exactly. And y'all women, hey, these so-called white women. I was just watching a video today. It was an elder that did it. I think it was an elder from New Jersey. I can't remember exactly, but the video was just so-called white women saying that they love Jake men. Like, I want me and Jake man. We don't really align with white women and with white men. And these white men hate that shit. These so-called white men hate that. They hate the fact that their women, they've always been doing it, but now it's more so than ever.
Yeah.
Why? Because you commit evil, not just against us, but against your own kind. That's what the scriptures say. To him that would do evil to himself, to whom he do good. Those are your own people that you're doing wickedness to. And you think nobody see that? You think nobody see the evil that y'all are, the atrocities that you're committing against your own kind? Right? What do you think is going to happen over time? Your own kind going to start to turn against you. You know? And then on top of that, what else? They're seeing that the world is seeing that the cries that we've been crying about for so long about your ass, oh, it's true. That's why I was talking about my man Shaheed Bolson, because it's like, why are these people getting lynched? I just watched a video today where they said you had another guy that got caught yesterday that was lynched. And he found a Jake hanging from a tree. That goes into that perpetual hatred that you got, man. Y'all Edomites, y'all hate Jake.
Yeah.
You see? And y'all so-called black women that are still hanging on to the idea of the so-called white man being in a position of power and authority and prestige and all that shit is dead, man. Y'all women are what 2025, 26 has been over what was it? What 600,000 black women that have lost their jobs in corporate America? Ain't he ripping Section 8 from you? The serpent is through with y'all women, man.
Yeah. Replacing everything by AI and robots. You know, they don't got no need for this old system. I seen a video just earlier today about Japan. I got it saved in my phone. I don't want to misquote it. But basically, how advanced these technologies are. Oh yeah, it says Japan recorded the world's fastest internet speed of 1.02 petabytes, which is fast enough to download all of Netflix in 1 second. So the reason why I bring that out is for the fact that these different countries are becoming extremely advanced. You know, so the technology that they're looking to put within these different systems is going to omit the old technology, which is people. You know, the standardized system of having these people with these blue collar jobs as well as white collar jobs. They're starting to gut out a lot of these different companies. That's why a lot of these companies are either going bankrupt or it's going to be something along that nature. You know, because the system that was previous, you know, is starting to be outdated. Everything updates, you know, whether it's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Your phone constantly needs to update. Your apps that you always on, you always got to constantly update them. So you think this devil is not looking to update his system? And part of his update is to remove half the majority of the people that make the lives go down. With the Jews called Goyim or useless leaders. And there's a lot of useless leaders. Like you just said about the Section 8 welfare recipients. They were liking those people under useless leaders.
Yeah, and if I can add to your point, brother, there was a time when those programs were needed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to separate the household. Like what I'm saying. But now that has been done, you know, Esau ain't willing to give out no goddamn $1,000 worth of EBT no more. So in Section 8 mixed use apartment.
Yeah.
They've already done what they needed to do by separating Jake men and Jake women. So what more are they gonna keep feeding y'all these certain benefits? You know, in America, so far they really can't afford to.
Yeah,
That shit, they run themselves thin.
not to mention too, they're funding a lot of these programs. The money that they were using these programs is being born.
Yeah, they funding them.
You know. Yeah. 12:3 says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders shall cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened." There ain't no jobs out here. I mean, we were once saying there ain't gonna be no jobs out here, man. There ain't no jobs out here. It's very difficult to find a job right now. And you so-called white, black women have been at the top of the job market for such a long time with all y'all fancy degrees and accolades and shit. It's not getting you nothing anymore. So what are you gonna end up doing, right? You're gonna end up crawling back to the Jake men, but the Lord has put the spirit on Jake men to reject your ass, man. So most of them men gonna die anyway, and at the end of the day, the men that's gonna be left standing are the men of the Lord, and you gonna get most of y'all gonna get rejected by them, you know, because when y'all had the opportunity to get yourselves together, y'all still played the games that y'all shouldn't have been playing. You know, because everybody's learning this the trickery. You know, certain I forget what the terms are, trick knowledge. You know, different ways of tricking, and which that goes to deception. You know, these different of our people too. You know, but especially the women of our nation, they learned all these things from Daddy Esau. So a lot of these men, they're in the, like you said, they're in the mentality of really covering themselves, man. You know, playing on defense rather than being naive to this world. Because when you pre coming into wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you know, the truth. I'm not saying these individuals have the truth, but they start to learn things clearly about the nation of their women. You know, the black women particularly. You know, when they actually come up on a certain level, you know, they see that what they were taught was all bullshit, man. You know, the traditional concept. You know, now don't get it wrong. It is certain women where, you know, you might be able to deal, and she you know, she's somewhere you could resonate with to a certain degree. But all I'm talking about, for the most part, yes. You know, the major cluster of women are fucking airheaded, man. You know, and they have a program. They have a adverse program which was given to them or adopted in them, bred in them by the so-called white man, whether it's through the feminist movement or whatever type of institution or program that they was being enlisted in, and that delved deep in their spirit to have a effed up mentality, man. You know, and the end all be all is the sacrifice of man. That's why you see these different women start to get to a certain point. They might get a baller. They get to a certain point. They might have 2, 3, 4 kids. Now they don't want to deal with them. You know, now they want to take them to Esau and strip him for everything that he's worth. You know, so like I said, going back to the men of our nation, they're not playing the game no more. You know, your best bet is just not to play the game. You know, disengage yourself. The scriptures speak about we are dead to the world, man. We're not looking to play this fucking rigged ass game of America as they, you know, as we know of it. You know, because most people try to find the little cheat codes and the little loopholes and slide in them like Esau, and they end up seeing themselves fucking getting these outstanding charges, facing 30, 40 years, trillion or billions or millions of dollars of debt. You know, because those only work for the devil, man. You know, tax, and they'll hit them with tax evasion or certain fraudulent charges. COVID, that was the certain relief loans.
Yeah, oh yeah, they knew y'all. They knew y'all knuckleheaded ass niggas.
Oh,
they knew it.
That was like bait.
That was bait.
I got a precept. This Isaiah 13:11. It says, "I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lie low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. All right. And that's what brothers are saying. It's going to be a time to where a bitch won't be able to have such high standards. All they're going to be willing to do is follow a man of the Lord, because in that time, you know, us men, you know, and those certain men that are of the elect that chose not to play the game, they're going to be at the highest level of man that a woman could ask for. All right, because in that time, all the riches of this world is not going to really mean anything. A man that is of higher value will have what? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. All right, the spirit of the Lord on them. All right, those are the type of men in the times that we're going into are going to be esteemed higher than all the others. You know, what's the term they call it? High value men. Yeah. We're going to be the highest of the highest value of men. You know, when shit start really hitting the fan, and you realize that everything that Esau Edom has told you and taught you, you so-called women, is bullshit. You know, all that delusion shit that y'all got is going out the window. Hey, I seen the other day, it was a bitch. They was asking her what she looked for in a man. Now, the bitch, she's in a wheelchair. She's saying that her man has to be at least 6 feet tall. Bitch, you in a wheelchair. What are you're sitting down. What? And that goes to show you the delusion of these so-called black women, man, in today's society. She done heard that so much that he got to have 6 inches, 6 figures, and got to be 6 foot tall that she don't even realize that she a fucking paraplegic, and her standards should be way lower than what they are.
It shouldn't be no standard.
Yeah. Bitch, take whatever you should get.
You should be appreciative.
And that's the type of shit that we have to deal with in society. And when we come out here and call it out, then we the bad guys. You people are fucking delusional, man.
And see, this is not like that in all these other countries.
Right.
You know, that's why a lot of men, they'll travel to foreign lands to find their women, because they see the quality of these American women are just garbage, man. Trash. You know? It's an F grade. These are F grade women, you know, sprawling and crawling all throughout America, man. You know, that's what I say when you talk to anybody, she a woman that's feeling, you start talking to them and you see she got that, she's just a bag of mixed nuts. She took a little bit from Cardi B, she took a little bit from Nicki Minaj, she took a little bit from her favorite TV show, yeah, reality, Wendy Williams, all these bugged out women that were set up in positions to teach women and ruin women, they eat it up, man. It is fun, yeah.
They relish in wickedness. You hear all the stupid shit that these females be saying sometimes. You be like, huh? Did you even hear yourself?
Yeah.
They relish in wickedness. That's why the scripture says, all wickedness is but a little to the wickedness of a woman. That the portion of a sin that fall upon her, because she don't consider the things that she's doing as evil. I was listening to a chick on a podcast. She said, I'm gonna get my money even if your ass got to go to jail in order for me to get it. What kind of shit is that to say?
That's how you think, bro. That's how you think. And even Esau knows that the women of our nation is trash. I had watched the video. I'm looking for this precept about at the point, but he was basically saying, man, you know, the black woman is pretty much anti. She's an anti-individual onto the program of black men. You know, they do everything in their power to destabilize and break you down. You know, in so many words. And he was like, you know, you're gonna have a lot of cucks try to jump on my comments and talk shit. But he was like, it's the truth, man. He was really like, yo, these women are far gone of y'all nation. You know, and this is a so-called white man. So if you hear Esau saying it out of the horse's mouth, we know directly, man.
Yeah.
You know, he probably never even dated a black woman to get that to come to the conclusion of that. That's just primary observing on social media. Yeah, you hear them talk, you see the perspective of what these women come with and hold, and you see like, nah, they're a cancer unto their own nation, man. And like we said, that was instrumentally designed by the so-called white man to poison the minds of our women to destabilize us. But you know what? Through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shah, the Lord has given us a woman that this devil can't touch, which is the Holy Spirit. Right. You know? See, he can't go into this and pervert the Holy Spirit. He can't change up the words of the Most High. There's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you know, it's within us. He can't take that away from us, you know, because he's subject unto to this word. As much as he might want to try to destroy the Bible, things of that nature, at the end of the day, he knows that his system can't continue without God's word being the prominent word overall. You know, all the previous presidents, you know, they had certain standing beliefs with certain points of the Bible. You know, Esau will say he's a Christian, even though he doesn't do things, you know, Yahushua, but he doesn't do things Christ-like. So they can't just take the word and just, you know, omit it out of the system. He's gonna look to do it though. But this is Isaiah 32 and 9, because like I was saying, you know, a system by its women. This is rise up, you women that are at ease, hear my voice, you careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Verse 10. Many days and years shall you be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Verse 11. Tremble ye women that are at ease. Excuse me. Tremble ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip ye and make ye bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Verse 12. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine.
If I can say too, real quick, just as the elder is bringing out this precept, who was one of the biggest recipients of Section 8? So-called black women. What's being removed right now? Section 8. And you have an epidemic of so-called black women getting kicked out of their houses. That sounds like them lamenting for those teats that the scriptures is talking about. You know, the job market. Y'all degrees ain't getting y'all these jobs like I used to. And I know, because I work in a low-grade restaurant, and I'm hiring people for $10 an hour that used to have the ability to make $30, $40 an hour. This just shows you how low these women have fallen. You got it.
Yeah. Right, you good. I was just looking at statistics. But it says more than 455,000 women exited the U.S. workforce between January 2025 and August of 2025. But it's basically going into how you know, a lot of these women have to be caregivers, things of that nature. And a lot of women got fired too. You know, this is just the ones that had to leave. You know, so like brother was going into, you know, this that high, proud, lofty mentality that these people possess, they can't even back it up. You know, it's one thing if you got a certain level of pride and you can back it up like the devil, the so-called white man who the Most High has to humble. But it's another thing, like the scripture says, that's one of the things the Lord hated. For man is poor and proud. You proud, but you ain't got shit. That just sounds stupid. You gotta, like, you should at least have some type of accolades that are inflate you to a certain. Now, of course, if you speak about the Lord hated pride, not justifying or speaking in particular, but you got individuals nowadays that's proud, and when you go into their track record of what they own or their accolades, they don't got shit, man. That's these women. You know, be living with their parents, you know, or they pretty much in a effed up situation. Checking account ain't got nothing in it, but they got all these astrological requirements, man. That's the hypocritical nation the Lord said that He's going to bring judgment onto. In the book of Isaiah, the 10th chapter, which I can get that. Yeah, you get it. And our people need judgment, man. You know, as much as the Lord has tried to extend His hand through brothers to show you the right way, you know, speak about how the Lord says, "I am the truth and the light." You know, walk ye in it. You know, and us brothers hitting the street corners weekly, weekends also. You know, telling you, don't do this, do it this way, do it that way. And our people just, these just niggas that just talking shit on the street corner. You know, but then when judgment smacks you in the face, you know, you over there looking like, damn, I really wish I would have listened to these, you know, men that actually had some type of understanding to direct my path. Because y'all aren't leaders, man. You know, you got a mass majority of our people trying to move like they got some type of leadership qualities. Mass majority of the people of our nation ain't leaders, man. That's why they're liking us to sheep. Sheep need a shepherd. You know, it's an order and it's a chain. That's why we follow. We have elders that we follow. You know, there's nothing wrong with going to individuals for advice and counsel. King David, you had certain prophets, men of the Lord, that actually went to higher ups for advice in this matter. The scripture says, do nothing without advice. But you have our people that just winging it.
You know, they don't want to hear you correct them in any way. They get angry about that. A lot of things. Yeah. You know, what the scripture say? A man, I don't want to butcher it, but a man that likes correction.
Yeah, we correct the just man because he should love thee.
And he should love thee. You know, but you got these foolish men out here. They don't want to hear no type of correction. I got that Isaiah 10:1 for you. All right, this is Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they have prescribed." Oh, that's DJ Trump, man. You know, Trump is the man in office. So you see everything that he's doing. It's instrumental, man. He ain't just signing off or creating this legislation, passing these different executive orders just because he feels like it. Nah, he wants to put you people in a bond, man. Constantly make you subservient unto the system. You know, they're talking about how even here in Atlanta really like the #1 surveillance city. Yeah, pretty much in America at this point. Yeah, cop city. You know, so they're tapping into your phones, whether it's through your routers. I mean, they're tapping into your privacy.
What lock cameras?
Yeah, flock cameras. There is no privacy at this point. You know, you don't have no private, area where you, like you said, like I was just saying, your phone is monitored. Like you just speaking about flock cameras, television. I seen somewhere they're talking about the routers that be in your households, man.
I was just thinking
that black box. Anything that's a black box in your house, more than likely Satan is.
Yeah, that can actually the router can actually the router sends out like it's like echolocation throughout the whole house, and it can actually detect sound and movement throughout the walls. And they've had this technology, I believe, since like 2006. And now they've perfected this technology. So this devil is like I'm gonna read that again. This Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees." The things that this devil do, these are unrighteous decrees, man. Evil.
I just typed it in. It says modern Wi-Fi routers can track movement and presence inside a house without a camera or microphone by analyzing how radio waves bounce off human bodies.
Yeah, it's like I just said, like echolocation, because that's how echolocation works. And it sends out a sound or a pulse, and it'll bounce off whatever it is that it hits. And once it comes back, they can get a 3D. They can create a 3D image of whatever it bounced off of. That's the type of technology that this devil has.
Yeah, it says your Wi-Fi can see you.
That's crazy. And you wonder why they're trying to turn everything into like a Wi-Fi based system. Everywhere you go is Wi-Fi this, Wi-Fi that, Wi-Fi this, Wi-Fi that. And then if you couple that with the flock cameras, you couple that with the surveillance of the cell phones, they're pretty much watching every move that you make everywhere you go.
That's why you can have a conversation with somebody. You get on social media, it's an ad for what you just talking about.
Yeah.
Well, shit, sometimes I don't even verbalize it. I can just be thinking about something.
And
I get online,
and
next thing you know, some fucking shoes and some food or something. I was just thinking about. That's how you know, man. You're not crazy.
We're not.
I know that's not happening to you. Even if you don't believe, you can come to grips with your phone and all this stuff. It's by design.
And see, like, this devil will tell you that, oh, yeah, we developed technology that watches your eyes. We developed technology that can read your mind and all that stuff, right? As the brother, that's the officer he was saying, right? Like he was just thinking something, and then all of a sudden, hey, do you think that's by coincidence? No, this man has created technology that maps how you think. First and foremost, they use these phones to create algorithms to monitor your patterns, your day-to-day patterns. And then they start constructing an algorithm to understand how you think based off of those patterns. And then they can actually use that to predict what you're going to do next and how you're going to move next. You see what I'm saying? That's how this is the level of technology that this man has, but y'all think that it's all far fetched, and it all came through his unrighteous decrees. Like now, he got legislation out now where uh they have to have these cars in compliance by 2027 with the new AI systems in them, where they watch your eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The car can stop and slow down and turn off based off of the condition that the AI system thinks that you're in. You know what I'm saying? This is all legislation that was passed, and they're moving forward with this. Exactly. Yeah, that's our theory.
But you got China that's already doing everything that we're saying, and they got a little bit, they got stuff that's even more advanced than that. You know, and America is really just playing catch up. Not that America can't put it within the system now. Everything is about timing, man. You know, Scripture says that the devil coming down with great wrath, knowing that he have but a short time. So he measures time. You know, like you said, by this year we want to put this within the system. By this year we want to do this. By so and so, you know, because if they dump all this, you know, this crazy technology within the system, it's going to shock the minds of the people. Yeah. You know, and they're going to see drastic changes, and they're not going to be able to cope with that. So Esau is looking to do these things incrementally or gradually, gradualism. That's what the whole thing is about. You know,
and the thing about America, and that's different from these other countries, America has fed the people lies to where they think it's a democracy and they have such a say. So they have to gradually quit it on them. These other countries, they want to implement some shit. It's either this way or you're going to die. You know, basically. So they know in America, they've given them so much level of freedom that if they just dump it right on, there'll be an uproar. So they know gradually if you feed it to them, people will eventually, you know, go along with it. How long was it ago that they done away with swiping your credit card to insert it? Then we can insert the package. That shit probably happened over. Just those 3 steps and the way that you use your debit card took 20 years. You don't think they had that technology to where you can just tap it 20 years ago? No, they had to ease the people's minds and to make them think that, oh man, this is pretty cool. Okay. Oh, this is convenient. Oh, I like this. Now all I got to do is tap. And you got 80-year-old, 90-year-old coming into an establishment tapping her card. You know, when it would have seemed so far-fetched 20 years ago. You know?
Go ahead. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
And that's why it's important to not have your head in the clouds, man, to really get into what this devil is doing and be up on game. Because the easiest motherfucker to attack is one that is not on their watch. A motherfucker that's just lollygagging through life. All right, you're going to be the easiest target for this devil. That when he pounces on your ass like a roaring lion, your ass going to be caught off guard. All right. But then, you know, as it goes back to, you got men of the Lord out here telling you people what's going on. All right. But it says the Lord stretched his hand forth and no man regarded. All right. That's what you people are doing. But hey, just keep on believing in Esau's system and keep on living and walking around thinking this man got your best interest at heart. All right. When he do decide to come down, hey, you're going to be so caught off guard because you thought this devil really liked you, all right? Because he gave you certain rights or certain benefits, all right? He claimed he's even the playing field for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. How's the playing field even when he had hundreds of years head start on you? Jake don't be considering these type of things, man. They think, oh, the white man, if we get in the jam, he'll bail us out. Look at what happened during C-19. Motherfuckers were so worried about losing their jobs and getting the jab to where all he had to do was cut a couple of $1,300 checks, you know, a couple of $2,500 checks, and patting Jake pockets, and now his so-called white man, he okay. You know, he ain't that bad. You know, he gonna come to our aid. You know, you get Isaiah 30, I think it's 30:1.
And that's how a lot of Jakes get caught, man.
Yeah.
You know, this devil be springing webs. You know, and he tells you to trust in him like this guy Fauci. We see that he's on trial, but this whole thing, I remember watching up. Yeah, I knew he was a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, we knew it. But we was watching it all play out like it was them. We was watching it in the theaters, man. Yeah, we was constantly, you know, giving our comments, you know, just speaking on it, talking about the wickedness of this devil. You know, by you individuals who's coming against us, a lot of you people died from taking that shot, man.
And dying.
And dying, yeah.
Got some type of condition that your ass can't get rid of.
Yeah. Myocarditis, different type of
Regular heartbeats, the breathing patterns ain't been the same. Some people still can't taste the shit.
Yeah, some people can't. That's the poison of the serpent, like the scriptures speak about, man. And our whole thing is to avoid this devil, man. Like you said before, and to fight back. A lot of our people just don't even want to fight. They want to play the neutral zone. They don't get the job done. You know, going to your 9 to 5 and just trying to have a nuclear family, and you know what I'm saying, baseball games.
You don't understand that this man is constantly on the attack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you sit here trying to live your life, and he's trying to kill your life. You know? He's putting things in play to take away your life. Why do you think things are the way that they are? This man is so evil that he'll hurt his own just to hurt you, Jake.
Yeah.
You know? You want that, Isaiah? I feel hurt now.
Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. I'm saying when I read it, I read it. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
And that's like the elder was saying, you people just want to play like ostriches and just hit your head in the sand.
Yeah.
It's really, reality is not what it really is. That's a form of being drunken.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because when you're not vigilant and watching, you're in a drunken state. Now that doesn't mean you're physically on some drink. That just means that your mind is not where it needs to be. All right, your mind is altered by the way you're thinking. All right.
Even drink another type of drinking spirits, man.
Yep.
You know, a lot of you people got spirits on you, but y'all don't have the right spirit. Y'all not coming in the right spirit to serve Yahweh Shema Rashah. So y'all just allow this devil spirit to reign over you, and a lot of you fear. You know, that's why you don't want to stand on the front lines and give yourself wholly unto this word, because your job is at stake. You lose your job, you already know your whole fucking life is gonna crumble. So you just want to play the background. You just let the so-called white man just whoop up on you and your nation's ass, man. You know, and just accept it. Even during slavery, you know, it was only a few Jakes that was willing to rebel. It's only a few Jakes that actually had that mentality to say, F that, man. You know, I'm gonna fight for the cause, whether it costs my life or not. But mass majority of those individuals, they didn't want to lose their lives. You know, their whole thing was to work in the plantation, try to keep massa pacified. You don't want to get on this bad side. He'll take your woman and have his way with her. Might do you too, break you, as the term goes, you know, book breaking, you know, and you just lose the fight. You lose the will to pursue the enemy, you know. But but the main thing is being spiritual, man. Because at the end of the day, we can't physically take arms and come against the government in these times. We know that this devil is going to put himself within something he can't get himself out of, according to Bible prophecy. You see this whole conflict taking place with Iran, Russia, as well as China. But that's the big stage that the Heavenly Father is talking about. Our job is just to proclaim this thing, man. You know, tell you exactly what's going to happen, prophesy it before it happens. So when it does happen, your simple self, talking about you, Jake, that don't be paying any mind, you won't say that we didn't tell you so.
I got something. I'm gonna stay in this Isaiah, but I'm gonna go down to verse 9. Start there. It says, This is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. Get ye out of the way, turn aside out the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. You see? So as the elder was saying, y'all don't want to hear what's right. Y'all don't want to hear, and ultimately, it's the will of the Heavenly Father, but we still got to call it out. But y'all don't want to hear this message that we're telling you about this place, about your enemy, about what he's doing, right? You still want to try to make a life in America and put your head in the sand while this man is standing above you spanking your ass. You know? And then you want to be mad. And it's the most terrible thing. I mean, it's the silliest thing. We have hope because we have Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we all living in the same type of situation under this devil. You see what I'm saying? The only difference is we're out here telling you what it is, but you don't want to hear it while you're living the shit. You're living the hell. You're living the chaos. You got people that are working 2-3 jobs because they can't afford, they can't not stop working. You got people with food insecurity, Jakes with food insecurity. You got people out here that are homeless, you know? But you still want to defend the person that's causing this shit. You want to defend the devil that's causing it. And you want to tell us that you don't want to hear it. Right? Well, this is the Lord say, verse 12, it says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity should be unto you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out of a high wall, whose breaketh coming suddenly. Right? And if you know anything about a dilapidated piece of construction, it could come down at any time. Yeah. And if you're standing in the wrong spot when it come down, you about to get crushed. Well, guess what? America is the wrong spot to be standing in.
And even something that's about to, before it breaks, usually it'll give you signs. You know, you step on something that's not stable, you're gonna hear, you're gonna feel like, you know, the offset of it, you know. And see, we using wisdom. We're stepping off of this platform. We're not a part of this American platform, you know. Like you have these politicians and these different individuals that jump into these different government seats and they want to be representatives and they want to give their high hopes on how to change America and brainstorm and think tank how to get out of these trillions of dollars. We ain't doing none of that. Maybe if America, you know, we just cut this and cut that and rearrange that, maybe we can pay off for that. Then America will start back. Then jobs will start to be reintroduced. So by the year 2036, you know, we'll have a fully functioning and growing economy. But man, we not speaking like that. We want this place to fall. Right. Jeremiah 28:8. Just like all previous kingdoms that had the Israelites in captivity, the prophets wanted those kingdoms to fall, and for the nation of Israel to stand on top. And the same thing now, you know. So this, like we said, this devil doesn't have your best interests at hand. You know, the hell with him giving you a nice little car to drive just to go back and forth to work, put you in slavery, or a nice little house to pay off the debt note, the debt notes that he gives you to constantly be in debt. And eventually, in due time, he's going to take all these different things away from you, sacrificing your life to the system. You might as well sacrifice your life unto the Lord. You're going to be a sacrifice anyway. You know, tells you that, like I quoted before, to give ourselves holy. Fight for the cause, Jake.
Got it. I had a quick this is Sirach 13:23. It says, when a rich man is fallen, Salaki 23, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith, they extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this?
Yeah, who the hell is that? You know, you don't have any credentials. You know, what school or, you know, school of thought he actually come from to actually be qualified to speak on these different things.
But then again, you don't question how the rich man made his money.
Right.
You don't say, damn, well, what did you do to get all that bread you got? Because in the world that we live in, these rich men, they commit a lot of evil and iniquity to gather the money that they have. They do a lot of robbing of wages, a lot of robbing, of people's substance. There's no way you can make that much money unless you robbing and stealing from people and stepping on people's toes. There's no way, But then the poor man might be in a position where he's governing. He might be poor, but he's governing his house well.
Yeah.
His children love him. His wife loves him. Everybody around him loves him. When he's speaking, the poor community that he in, people respect him. People listen to him. People hear him. But then you get around a cluster of people and you standing amongst a rich person. They don't know what the hell he's talking about because he got money. He could have got money through inheritance. His family could have passed it down to him. But because he has it, and he's pulling up in nice cars or nice apparel.
Level of notoriety.
Exactly. You don't want to hear him. But this poor man who actually has a level of wisdom, like the story about the poor man who saved the village,
city, yeah.
who saved the city. He was poor, but his wisdom is what saved the city. But nobody regarded that man.
It says,
and the poor man didn't want their respect. It was he had good intentions. That's why he saved the city. Was the city goes to the citizens as well as the city on itself. So we take the same role. We're not looking for the respect of you people. The scriptures speak about how prophets are going to be defamed and looked down upon. Yeah, I wish I wasn't. Now you had like brothers speaking about the ones that loved them. Yeah, I wish I was loved by a great company and individual, but vast majority of people hated him because of the message that he spoke of. That's why he said, "Ye are from below, and I am from above." People don't want to hear about greatness. Vast majority of people don't want to be great. They just want to be at base. But you can't just be, even in the system, especially in the system, you can't just be on that same level and think that's going to be able to get you by, man. Because guess what? The next generation and the generation after that has to live in the system, and they got to live with the constant changes, and they have to actually, they have to learn to accept these different things, But like I said before, that's the point of us fighting and teaching this word so that your eyes are open to this reality and you know how to avoid as well as resist, man. You got it.
It says, but if a poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this?
Yeah, like who the hell is you?
And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him.
Throw you off the ship or wherever, because of lack of respect. Like you're a piece of shit, but the so-called white man, you got niggas that'll give him the utmost. That's why 2/3 is a large number, and the Lord has slated them onto the sword, man. We don't feel sorry for niggas that's getting judged. Like you just spoke about them jakes that be getting jacked up. A lot of jakes been getting jacked up lately because they've been around the so-called white man too goddamn much, man. Token black nigga. All your contacts in the phone full of goddamn white folks. You're looking down on niggas. When niggas be around too many white people, they look at niggas like it's a foreign. Like I was cursed with this color. I just gotta live with it. So I'm gonna be around the white people because I know they got all the good stuff going for them. They see another nigga and they look at him like, oh hell no. And it's the women too. That's why a lot of these women been getting jacked up. It's devil find the opportune time, and everybody start cutting them eyes towards your direction. Now they ready to take your ass out, man. And like you said, it might get ruled as a suicide. What do you say, foul play? No foul play or whatever. And they ain't even trying to open the books on it.
When they say statistically, right? A so-called black man being hung is the least likely way that a black man would die or be killed. As far as suicide is concerned, and like it's like a Jake man hanging himself on his own population. You know what I'm saying? So when you see a so-called black man hanging from a tree, you should automatically say, "Oh, it's foul play involved in this." It's on this out. You should automatically rule that it's foul play. But what do? They say, "Hey, this was a suicide." But you got Jakes in college, but prominent careers, potential prominent careers or whatever, life in front of them, they turning up dead, suicide. But y'all Jakes still want to brown nose on these damn Edomites. Well, y'all can't even be around them. You know what I'm saying? Like, look what happened to that Noah guy. What would they do? They went out to the island with them so-called white men. The man ended up dead as hell. What did they do? They cut out his throat. They cut out his stomach. They cut out a lot of his brain matter, so they wouldn't be able to identify how a man was killed, right? And y'all Jake still trusting this man. Like, listen,
They have salivates for doing stuff like that too.
And it's been no facet of history where this man has been trustworthy to any nation.
You think the devil feels bad, like he got remorse? He, want to make a confession? I don't give an SHIT. If it was up to them, they'd do 10,000 more. You niggas, Latino, as well as Latinos, and it ain't just a black thing. You see how he did Gad? Gad the belt. Yeah. All this land was Native American territory. You don't even see Native Americans like that.
And they found
you got to go to certain parts, it's a rarity. Like you be having they be having certain rhinos and they'll say they're going extinct. That's how it is with Native Americans. You gotta go fly.
I was
gonna say, they'll say by the year 20 so and so, they don't reproduce and they're gonna go extinct as a species. That's what the so-called white man was doing to us as tribes. And you think we just gonna forgive them, just let them off the hook?
That's what I was gonna say. It's like all this stuff this man has did. There's never been a time in history where this man has been in favor of you, as it has been for you. There's never not been that one time. He used trickery and deception to deceive you into thinking that he's for you. There was a video where he said, it was a Jew and a Jake, and my man was like, say something. And he was like, you want me to say something? He was like, you people, you're not a race, you're a virus. He was like, y'all destroy everything beautiful. He said, y'all stab us and then hand us the knife and say it was our fault. This is what these people do. And y'all Jakes being stabbed, y'all still fall for it. Y'all still don't want to listen, even though this. And then y'all feel some kind of way about us saying the Edomites ain't gonna make it into the kingdom. Why would you even want to bring this monster into the kingdom? Like, seriously. Like, look at the world this man has created.
Jake mentally ill, man.
America was literally given to Esau, and look what he did. He built this country off the backs of chattel slavery. Then he created Jim Crow. Then, through the Bretton Woods Agreement and the Federal Reserve Act, he took control of the world financial system. And you see what he did with that. Then came after the Bretton Woods Agreement, the 1973, you had the petrodollar that was created, 73 and 74. It was the petrodollar that was created under Henry Kissinger. Look what he did with that, right? And this devil, every single time, you Jakes think that this man is trustworthy, he do something bitter and hateful toward your ass. And then we the bad guys telling you about this man. We just pointing out this man's character, telling you what he do, telling you the type of man he is, telling you that he don't need to come with us into the kingdom. Because he is, the scriptures say in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, I believe is the 3rd or 4th verse, it says, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Right. You cannot make this man righteous.
You got it. Just back up. This Ecclesiastes 1:15, it says that which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. Yeah, and that's what Brother Nate is saying. Hey, there's no making this devil which is crooked straight. All right, there's no way to rehabilitate him. There's no way to put instill any sort of righteousness in him. All right, just look at his track record. And that's why it says here in Ecclesiastes 1 and 15, that which is crooked cannot be made straight. So you'll be wasting your time trying to do it to this devil, man.
Yeah, this devil, even in this system, they don't be trying to rehabilitate crooks, you know. Now, don't get it wrong, they might have certain programs, but for the most part, if you're a felon, 2 or 3 time convicted felon, man, you shut off from a majority of the system. But look at this devil. They praise the founding fathers, the ones that rape, rob, murder, make you actually celebrate days of men that murdered scores of, more than scores, you know, out of thousands, millions of people, man. But you might hear about a local killer that might have killed 2 or 3 people, and you gonna get you Netflix documentaries on him being a monster, man. You know. But then Christopher Columbus and George Washington, these individuals, this devil will get praised. That's hypocritical.
In the name of what? Manifest destiny.
Yeah, in the name of manifest destiny.
Killed, raped, robbed, and slaughtered damn near whole nation of people.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy, they ain't got nothing on the founding fathers.
And what did George Washington say? He said he didn't put down his sword for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Columbus.
Oh, that was Columbus. Yeah, Columbus. And Christopher Columbus. And they used to, what he used to do, he used to have Jake men line up, and they used to have contests to see if they could slice men in half with one swipe. Fed them as dog food to the dogs.
Yeah, the so-called white man track record make Ted Bundy and these guys look like saints.
Yeah,
it's for real.
Threw them off threw Jake's off the ships and fed the sharks. The sharks would follow the slave ships because they knew they were gonna get them a meal. This is recorded history. But I'm gonna bring this point out. Kind of. Okay, this is the term deceive. The term deceive goes into mislead by false appearance or statement. You know, so this man will put on an image. That's a false appearance. He appears as a saint. He appears like he's here for your betterment. You know, you see these suit and tie devils, you know, with the assertive mentality and talking with all these, you know, big ass words. They know the perfect insertion of certain words to make you feel comfortable, feel like you're somebody you could trust, you know, just for you to turn around for him to put that dagger the size of a goddamn sword. You know, it should look like something off of a fucking cartoon how big that dagger is, man. And stab you in the back with it. And this story has been going on too long for you Jakes to be not so naive, man. So all right, well just go to the path of this devil and see where he's gonna lead you to. You know how many bodies have been collected by this devil of taking our people out through the art of deception? Smart, going back to like I was saying before, smarten up, man. Got it.
I got a quick one. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. It says, and no marvel, for Satan himself transformed into an angel of light. You know?
Yeah, so don't be in awe, or you know, you gotta recognize the game that this man is playing. And you gotta play it for him. Use your key senses, man. Use the spirit of Yahweh Shema Rashah. The Lord has given us the tools, you know, to fight this weapon, fight with the weapons that he gave us, pursuing a book of Ephesians 6 chapter. You know, and they're spiritual tools. They ain't physical tools. You don't have to go to this man with a gun or, you know, any type of artillery because it ain't gonna work that way. You know, it's the spirit of Yahweh Shema Rashah that rescued us, and that's the only way we can fight this man. You know, because his blessing is the sword, and we have a blessing, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So, you want to go?
With that, you know, we pray this for edifying camp. We're gonna close out, giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to our elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who taught us his truth. We pray this edifying camp. To the next time we say Shalom.
Yes.